Now let's build the cylindrical base of our pistol. So for our sort of stun gun here, we want to have a cylindrical base kind of at the back of the barrel. And so let's start to block that in. So we'll create polygon primitive cylinder. And bring this up into position. We want to rotate it about 90 degrees in the Z. We can go ahead and increase the radius and the height. Okay, let's take the height up just on the outside of the barrel, and then we can position it. So we don't want the barrel to be too long. We want this to be sort of a pistol size. So maybe something like that. You can see the part of it's extending back. All I have to do is grab those points, and I can just drag those inside of that cylinder. Now we want to be able to add some detail to the cylinder, so I want to have enough resolution along the subdivisions. So I'm going to set this to 24 just so I have plenty of resolution to work with. And actually, let me set this up. I want to set it a little bit higher. So let me set this to maybe 30. All right, and I want to give, let's give ourselves some subdivisions along the cap here. So let's just do one subdivision, or two subdivisions, so one line here. So something like that. And also let's do one subdivision along the height, so that splits it right in half. Now we'll do a little bit of modeling on the side. So I'll go ahead and remove this side, and we'll just concentrate here on this side. So let's go ahead and grab these polygons. I'm going to go ahead and kind of scale these up a little bit. And let's move them straight out in the X. So something like that. Okay, we want to make sure that this whole thing is sticking outside of the barrel just a little bit. And I'm going to actually pull it out just a little bit more. So maybe something like that. Okay, go back and we've got those faces selected. Let's go ahead and do an extrude. And we'll just do a little bit of an offset here. So it'd be something like that. Okay, and now we want to kind of push this into the surface. So we'll go ahead and do another extrude. And instead of doing an offset, actually, let's just do thickness. We'll kind of push this back in, kind of till we hit the barrel. Something like that. All right. Now I want to kind of separate this out so that when we smooth it, it kind of looks like there's different pieces connected together. So let's use our insert edge loop tool, and let's add an edge loop in here. I want to reset that so it's no longer using the multiple. And let's go ahead and add an edge loop right in here. And then let's add a couple right here. Then we'll go ahead and take this row of faces. So click, shift, double click, extrude, and we'll kind of pull that thickness in just a little bit. Okay. As we smooth it, you can see you can start to get kind of a division there. Now I want to do the same thing up here. So let's insert an edge loop right here to kind of hold that shape. And then let's do the same thing here and here. And then we'll take these faces, go ahead and just pull that thickness in just a little bit. And we can get kind of a division right there as well. Okay, let's tighten up this edge right up here. So we'll use our insert edge loop tool just to create a nice tight edge there. So we get something like that. Now I want to do kind of a bar coming across here. And so let's go ahead and we can figure out where we want this to come from. So let's go to the side view. And let's do kind of these three straight across to the three right across the way. So we're looking at kind of these three. Before I do that, I want to add another edge loop right in here. Okay, and let's add one right in here so that we can kind of better define where that's going to come across. So we'll select these three, and then we'll come straight across and select these three. So we want to create geometry, just a line of geometry between these two. So we're going to go to Bridge. This will allow us to create a bridge between two selections of faces. We want to have the same number of faces selected on both sides. Let's just do a linear path, a straight line, and we won't have any divisions. Let's bridge across, and you can see that bridges that new geometry across there. Okay, so when we smooth it, we get something like that. Now if we want to tighten up the area in here, same thing goes. We would add an edge loop to tighten up that line and tighten up that connection coming in there. Okay, so once we've got that detail added the way that we want, then we can go ahead and mirror this over to the other side. So, we could take this and just do a mirror in the negative X direction, always checking our threshold. I like to sometimes just set it down a little bit just to make sure nothing is merged that shouldn't be merged. And then we get something like that for our cylindrical base. So this gives us a good base to kind of build the handle off of and build some of these other pieces off of. And we can still kind of move things around a little bit if we want to. We can move this. If we want to get this back here, we can move it even further forward until it just penetrates in. And we could make this part a little bit deeper if we wanted to. So let's go ahead and delete our history. We can freeze our transformations. And now we're ready in the next lesson to go in and start to build out sort of an extension piece underneath this cylinder that'll kind of attach to the barrel. So let's go ahead and do that in the next lesson.